hear me, I'm not saying that striving for growth is a bad thing at all. It really is where you are placing the priority of growth, watching your motives for growth. And actually, one of our campus pastors back at the church that I work at says, he describes this analogy that I think just really sums it up well. And he says, when you're planting in a garden, what happens if you don't intentionally plant? We think nothing will come of that, right? If you plant nothing, you'll get nothing. It's wrong. If you plant nothing, you'll get weeds. And so nothing cannot come from nothing. Nothing produces weeds. Same thing happens with encouragement. If encouragement doesn't take place, it's not that everything will just stay the same and nothing will happen from it. You'll have weeds, and those weeds will start drowning out culture. And it'll crowd it out to what you're trying to create. So you almost have this adverse reaction to the momentum you're trying to create over here because you've got a bunch of weeds that you didn't even know were growing because of a lack of encouragement. So now we're to the culture aspect. Encouragement as culture. What does that look like? I already said Peter Drucker says culture eats strategy for breakfast, but culture gets its appetite from purpose. So who you are and how you lead very much so matters, bringing your full self to lead. Dr. Henry Cloud, in his Boundaries series, talks about culture as one of two things. One, it's what you're creating, and two, it's what you are allowing. So then it begs us to ask the question, well, what culture of encouragement are you actively creating? And then what are you allowing to take place in the culture? Maybe subliminally, not even recognizing what's setting the foundation of your culture. And I recognize that the culture will look different for every single church. So those are more questions that you can be thinking of internally. What am I creating? What am I allowing? Am I planting all of the right things, or is there an area where maybe I haven't given my full attention to over here and weeds are starting to grow? Once you are able to establish what you want to see and what you want to create for culture, then it brings us back full circle to strategy. You don't have to create a separate strategy when encouragement is your strategy. Everything we just talked about is a strategy. Your strategy is how and where you're encouraging your small group point people. Your strategy is celebrating life moments and wins. Your strategy is making sure that the groups are vulnerable and safe and you're leading yourself well. It's making sure you have weekly rest and daily relational engagement. All of these things are forming the strategy of encouragement. And what you celebrate is what you replicate. So what do you want to replicate on your teams and in your groups? And I thought, what better time than to actually implement all of that stuff right now? So I wanted to give us maybe about 3 minutes and think about 2 to 3 people who we need to encourage either today or as soon as we get back. Might be a text, might be a phone call, might be a thank you note. But who are the 2 to 3 people that the Lord is putting on your heart? And if you don't know, just ask him. He'll give you those names that you need to encourage today. Because at the end of the day, all of this stuff doesn't matter if we're not implementing it. So maybe let me give you the next 3 minutes and just jot it down or pull out your phone or